What's going on, people? Jason here, and this is the Rode NT-1, which, if you follow me on Instagram, you know I've already popped onto this mic stand, plugged into the interface, and shot some flash photos with in my, if I say so myself, pretty heavenly room. If you couldn't tell, this is a plug of my Artistic Ventures Instagram, where I post creative things. But the subject of those photos is also the topic of today's video, being this mic that I picked up with the interface on eBay for less than 300 bucks combined. I'm actually upgrading to this guy from the Movo UM800, which we also got in front of us here, this being a $100 USB mic that I've used for approaching the better part of a year. So what we're doing today is pitting these two different mics at very different price points together. And I want to say that the purpose here is really not to figure out which one of these mics sounds better, because as you'd expect, the audio quality on the more expensive mic is by nature gonna be better. But it's more so figuring out your opinions with respect to which one you think is worth it. By the way, all the audio you're listening to starting from the very beginning of the video up until what's more worth it to you was option A of a blind audio test you probably didn't even know you were participating in. But I wanted to do this as kind of an effort to put aside those subconscious biases that do come with just knowing that one mic is 3 times more expensive than the other. But again, we've come into the realm of option B, with this blind audio test. And if you appreciate the effort of put something out from a different perspective, different angle, get you to look at things differently, then feel free to drop a like or a subscribe down below. But again, starting with, by the way, this has been option B of this blind audio test. And again, your two options are the $100 Movo UM800 and the Rode NT-1, that's $300 with the interface, the AI1 that came with it. Alrighty, option A was the $100 mic, the cheaper mic, the Movo UM800, and then the second option you heard, B, was the expensive mic, the Rode NT-1. And regardless of which one you thought was better, let's continue on into the more formal, structured comparisons. Alrighty, so you know the drill with Jason R mic tests. I've moved the NT-1 out of the frame so there's no confusion, and what we got in front of us is the $100 Movo UM800. And it's a little bit confusing considering I haven't done a dedicated review of this mic, but do keep in mind that is going to be coming very soon as kind of a last hurrah with this mic. Of course, I am upgrading from it, but to kind of summarize what this mic is in a nutshell, it's really a Blue Yeti clone that is undeniable with a very similar price and a very similar market segment. And honestly, I'd say that all things considered, it does stack up to the Yeti in terms of quality and value. And as we have it sitting here, I understand that it may not be as appealing when it's sitting right next to a $300 mic and, of course, more professional mic, just the fact that it's an XLR mic and uses an interface, what I called in my room tour a mediator between the analog and digital signals. But it really is a good mic, and it's definitely something I would recommend to somebody that was maybe a beginner podcaster, didn't want to break the bank, a YouTuber, or honestly even a musical artist, because I did record the entirety of my song, How It Glows, on this mic. But coming back, talking about the test, I did try to reduce the variables when it comes to the audio quality and the environments that these two mics are sitting in. When it comes to the recording pattern, which in layman's terms is the direction that it's going to pick up audio from, I do have it sitting in cardioid mode, and that's really just to match the fact that the NT-1 is always going to be in cardioid mode. And with respect to the gain, the distance between me and the mic, and regarding the environments that these two mics are sitting in, I'm really trying to keep those variables at a minimum, so what you're really hearing is the difference in the audio quality between these two mics. I'm going to go radio silent for a second now, just so you can kind of judge the noise floors on this mic. Alrighty, and moving on to the Rode NT-1, again with unedited audio. That is a hard word to say, but I know that this view is kind of a little bit different, kind of weird looking. Not the most flattering, I will admit. And it looks like this mic might possibly be higher than the Movo was, but do understand it's just the pop filter that you're really seeing in the field of view of the camera that I'm checking right now. The mic is actually right here, and they are at the same level and the same distance for the best audio comparison possible. And talking about the Rode NT-1 and where this sits in the audio space, I'd really say that this is pretty widely considered to be a good starter XLR microphone, especially because it's expensive enough to be clearly better than a USB mic, but also, in the grand scheme of things, is not going to break the bank. It is really affordable when it comes to XLR mics. And For me, just being a budding, growing YouTuber and musical artist, I think this mic is a good fit for where I'm at on this part of my journey. But I will say, there's most certainly people that have different ideas of what's worth it when it comes to audio tech, or really anything for that matter. Whether it's really from the perspective, this is the amount of money I got, therefore this is the amount I can reinvest into my ventures, or just from an artistic growth perspective, like I'm buying filters for my camera to get an effect I didn't know existed a month ago, that type of thing. And really, thinking back to the Blue Snowball versus the Yeti comparison video I did, there was a good portion of people that couldn't tell the difference between those mics with a $50 price difference between them, $50 and $100 at the time. So that really goes to show people got different ideas of what's worth it, and half of the point of this video is figuring out what fits best for you. Okay, boys and girls, now to keep things consistent, I'm gonna go silent so you can evaluate that noise floor. And as is the regular rotation when it comes to audio comparisons that I do, we're now listening to edited audio from the Movo UM800. And do keep in mind that when I say edited, this is a subjective thing. I do edit things to where I think they sound the best, but of course, there's people that don't like the crisp that I tend to add to audio, or the fullness, or really any part of the audio, etc., etc., etc. It could be anything. And so just keep in mind that this section really isn't telling you the potential that you could bring to this mic, or the effects or the sound signature that you prefer to get out of these mics. It's really more so just kind of trying to bop you out of that mindset of thinking that the inherent characteristics and qualities of the sound signatures of these mics are baked in, when in reality, there's of course some flexibility with that, and this is really more so to get you to acknowledge or just understand that, if you will. And last but not least, the audio from the Rode NT-1 edited in Cakewalk with a chain of plugins that I'm working on developing that I will package up and put into a tutorial video very, very soon. Just gotta finalize and kind of clean some things up before I do that. But I really don't got much technical stuff to say beyond this. So as I start to round out this video, I'm just gonna ask y'all, how are you doing today? Probably don't get asked that very often in this fast-paced, often misguided world, if I do say so myself, that is social media, influencer space. But I really do want to know what y'all got going on, what projects, what creative things are you doing? Let me know down below in the comments. And when it comes to me, you already know I am ready for summer to get back on the grind in terms of creative things, content, more videos, more music, photos. I'm excited, and without anything really that needs to be covered beyond that, thank you for being here for this video, and I'll catch you in the next one.